What is going on YouTube? This is NCAP24 and today we're going to go ahead and do a different type video that we've been doing over the last couple of weeks when it comes to our formation scheme series. This week's series is going to be on the red zone. Okay, we're going to go through several different ways to score in the red zone using different formations, not really just one formation when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks playbook that can translate into other playbooks as well. Now, this video today is really going to give a little bit of a base information about why it's so tough to score in the red zone this year. There are several different factors that are playing in the way that the reaction times are when it comes to your secondary, your linebackers, your linemen when they're in coverage, when they're in zone coverage, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to give you a series of tests and show you why and how things work inside the red zone to give you a better understanding of where you need to attack it, and really just as a general statement, get you better at knowing the game a little bit more so that you can use this knowledge to put your own plays together as well. So for our first example, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how your route tree gets limited once you get closer to the end zone because of a factor that happens in this game. So the first example we're going to show you is a cover 4 beater with a comeback route and show you at what distance you can use it and what distance you can't use it based upon how this game is programmed. So for our first example, I'm going to show you a classic cover 4 beater where we're going to put a comeback and a drag going to the same side of the field to the short side of the field. I'm putting every one of our defensive linemen and linebackers in a quarterback spy because I don't want them to affect anything on this. We're just attacking the secondary. As you can see, I'm outside of the red zone, right? Just about the 23-yard line. I'm going to put Julio Jones on a comeback, and I'm just going to put Gabriel on a drag. And it doesn't matter. I'm going to max protect so nothing else gets affected, right? So when you see it, we're outside of the red zone. You're going to see that you're going to be able to complete this comeback because of the fact that your secondary has not reached the barrier zone yet, right? So let me go ahead and show you here. X is going to do his comeback. He's going to be able to come back. If you throw it right on his peak, you're going to be able to throw it to that player, okay? It's going to be tight, but it's going to work. The reason why I'm going to show you here on instant replay is that when this secondary goes back, they're going to go back, and they never reach their full drop when I throw this ball. As you can see, when I throw this ball right here, he's breaking on as soon as he takes his hand off the ball, right? That's what a 91 zone will do, okay? So he never really reached the barrier when it comes to the red zone fence that I'm going to be talking about. Now let's go show you the next example. So for this example, what we're going to do is we're going to show you exactly the same exact defense against the same exact offense. We just moved the ball up a little bit further. So now we're inside the 17-yard line. That's where comebacks are ineffective when it comes to the 17-yard line because of the way that our defense reacts with that fence barrier that I'm about to show you. So what you'll see here is we're going to run the exact same play, we're going to throw it at the exact same time, and you're going to see that the cornerback has a different reaction that where he's going to get to the ball quicker and making comebacks ineffective at this point because of the barrier that is in there. So let's go take a look at it. I'm going to go ahead and see that this X is going to make his break. Once he makes his break, we're going to throw this ball, and basically that goes ahead and picks it off. Now, let me show you why on instant replay this works for in favor of the defense, okay? So we're going to go ahead and look at Julio Jones, and he's going to go down the field, okay? Once we see that they get to this 5-yard mark, right? Watch what the defense does. They basically stop at one spot and form this line, okay? See how they have this line? They're all in that spot. Even though Sanu over there in the backside is behind those players, they form this line and they stay there. Okay, if you actually look at Earl Thomas, he goes a little bit past the line and then animates him up a little bit, right? So then you're going to see that we throw this ball, right, on his break. And it's not because the guy, like right here, you could see that Shaquille Griffin, we haven't even made our quarterback motion yet. See, he's standing there. It's not like he's going to stand there because of the break. Once he does the break on the same 91 motion, he's in a better spot to go ahead and break it, essentially making comebacks ineffective from the 17-yard line in. Okay, so when you get your route tree to be much less, then you're going to notice how that's going to really affect. Let me show you another play. It's the PA post, which is out of Gun Bunch Week. And you're going to see that we're going to be able to be effective with this all the way up until about the 13-yard line, okay? So for this example, I'm just going to go ahead and base the line. And I'll go ahead and spread my linebackers and put the X linebacker or at both of linebackers, basically on cloud flats. Okay, we're on the 15-yard line, and all we're going to do is leave this the same, but we're going to throw this X route, but we're going to throw this route to where we basically will pass lead him down and away. Okay, so here we go, cut off the play action. You're going to see that we're going to pass lead him down and away, and you see we got that pretty easily at the 15-yard line. Okay, why is that, right? If you look at the instant replay, you're going to see that this player right here, when we make this, he hits his barrier right there. And see how he hits his barrier? We've already thrown this ball underneath, and we get that separation. Now, let's go a little bit further. Let's go to the 13-yard line, okay? Let's see how this works right here between the 12 and the 13. Does it work exactly the same? So let's go ahead and base the line. And I'm just going to put this X on, I basically put everybody on cloud flats. And cloud flats. All right, I basically didn't put that guy there. And let's just make sure that we put him in a cloud flat. All right, in a cloud flat. All right. So we're doing the same exact sample. And what I'm going to do here is do the PA post. And let's go ahead and throw this route the same exact way. And now we're going to throw it underneath. See how that's different? Now, why is it different? There's a couple reasons. Okay. The 2-yard difference makes all the difference when it comes to this play because your linebackers also have a barrier. Okay, so not only do your safeties have a barrier, your linebackers have a barrier 2 yards into the end zone. Okay, so basically, let's look at this, and we're going to hike the ball. See this here. Now, the reason why this is effective is because you see where this linebacker is, and it's a bad example now because I'm not showing you more than one linebacker. I'll show you a better example later. But this guy will not go past that 2-yard mark. What that basically means is he's going to have a better spot of being able to go and cut this off, as well as see how close your DB is. See how they form that line again. And even if that linebacker wasn't there, you would have been all over this with a DB. So PA post, if you know you're inside the 13-yard line, you know that it's going to be ineffective, okay, when it comes to that route. I wouldn't even guard that route when it comes to this formation because of the fact that you know that that's going to be something, as long as you put a cloud flat out there, it won't be effective, okay? So that's kind of one of those things that you just want to know from a defensive side. So let's go look at our next example. So this next example, we're going to show you how we're going to look at how out patterns work. And I wanted to do it from the 11-yard line because I want to do a smart routed out that's going to go right on the goal line, okay? I'm going to show you from the inside position, and then I'm going to show you from the outside position. Basically, this is from a slot position, and I want to do an isolated player. And then I'll go ahead and do it the next time with a player a little bit more further outside from, you know, an X or B receiver that's flanked out, right? So what you'll see here, this is against cover 4. I put all the players that could affect this play in a quarterback spy. So we're just going against the outside player. And you'll see here, once the guy makes his cut, we're going to throw it to him. And you're going to see how that guy is going to be blanketed. And why is that again? It's because of the barrier. The barrier will not make that guy go back further. Okay? As a defender, you know that he will not go past that 5-yard mark. See how those guys both stay? So he's going to blanket this guy. So basically speaking, inside the 10, out routes are ineffective when it comes to being able to play this on the goal line. The only time you're going to get success is if the guy shields you. See how he shielded his player and you make a miraculous catch? But the guy is going to be on him like glue, okay? And that is inside the 10, out routes are not effective, which basically means inside the 10, basically at the 10, smart routed in routes are going to be the same way, and I'll show you that as well. Okay, so we're back with our illustration here, and you're going to see that we've got everybody in that same spots, and we're going to go with this X receiver on a smart routed out right at the goal line. So again, we're going to show you here, he's going to go hit that barrier, we're going to throw the X on his break, and you're going to see that that guy is right there. So again, throwing into the end zone is not a viable option when it comes to anywhere inside the 10 on out routes. Okay, so you got the out routes. So let's go ahead and show you in routes. All right, so we're going to look at this X receiver here, and you see how he does his in route from as wide as I can get him, okay? This is a formation which I did some motioning to get him out wide. And you'll see in the defense, we're going against that same cover 4 coverage. All we're going against is that DB. I'm going to have that B get cleared out just to make sure that we're just going one-on-one. So from the inside the 10, or basically at the 11-yard line, you're going to see that once we throw that X, you're going to try to throw that ball in, and you're going to see that guy is right there. So that player essentially, and when we look at his range on a cover 4, he can cover to the pylons, to the back and to the front, and watch where as far he can go ahead and cover basically to the numbers. So if you were to do an over the head view, his range of being able to cover is basically from the numbers to the sidelines to the back of the end zone. And that's basically a no-fly zone when it comes to cover 4 in the red zone, okay? So if you can't throw on that side, then you know that if you were going to the wide side of the field where the ball was actually a little bit further of a distance, you're not going to be able to throw it in that side either. So if you take an overhead look of where you're at right now, of where those DBs can cover, it's going to be very, very unlikely that you're going to be able to throw to these portions of the field when it comes to these players, unless there's distractions in their zones, which is very, very hard to do in the red zone on these parts that I got highlighted right now. So if these positions are not able to be thrown in, that's really going to give you a hard spot to throw in when it comes to getting the ball in the end zone. Now, you can definitely throw underneath that and then run, but as far as throwing a pass inside the pylons, those places are pretty much no-fly zones. So for my next example, what I want to do is show you that each zone has its own barrier. Before I showed you cover 4, each 4 was in a deep blue, okay? No matter if it was a quarter deep blue, whether it's a third deep blue or a half deep blue, they all have that barrier when it comes to the end zone. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you a cover 2 model here, where now we've got 2 players in cloud flats and we've got 2 players in your deep blues, right? So we're not going to look at the linebackers. We're just going to look at the outside secondary, okay? And let's go ahead and show it this way. And I'm going to do 4 verticals where everybody goes up the field. And that way you can see that they stop at a certain point. So we'll hike the ball. We'll let them all go down the field. And I'm just going to throw this ball away. Okay. So now let's go ahead and look at this instant replay. All right, so we're going to show you how the deep blues and the cloud flats go to a different barrier. You'll see here that as the quarterback goes back, you're going to see it, and then once he stops. Now let's go ahead and move this over. Look where those cloud flats are. They only go about a yard into the end zone, while these guys have that same form. So these guys go to the 1-yard spot. These go to here. Cloud flats will not go further back than that. And that really gives you a nice opportunity that you don't have to play hard flats per se when it comes to running end zone because of the way these guys stay on there. Yes, they will go and back up to that spot, but they go ahead and stay there. Now, those free safety, strong safety stay in that same line, and you're going to be able to have, your nice barrier. I do want to make a mention that they will move once you throw the ball, but that's where they play until the ball is thrown, okay? So now we're going to move it to the half-inch line, and we're going to do the same 4 verticals type situation, okay? Now, what I want to show you on this is that no matter how close you are, they're going to still hold that barrier line as far as the secondary goes. Doesn't matter if all these guys go to the back of the end zone, they will still hold that line until the ball is thrown. So watch here. You're going to go ahead, and I'm going to throw the ball out of the way, okay? Now, watch the line that gets formed. So here we go. We're going to show you, look at this line here. The back 4 players are going to hold their line. It doesn't matter that all 4 guys went by them. They're going to hold their line when it comes to protecting the end zone. All right, so I want to make sure that you saw that no matter where you are, they're going to hold that line. Now let's go ahead and show you where the linebacker line is on the 1-yard line as well to show you the difference between the two. So for this example, I'm going to change the quarter flats to hook zones because you saw already how they work when it comes to cloud flats. They go to the outside and stay. Now watch how they work when it comes to basically just changing those to hooks, vertical hooks, okay? So putting all of our linemen on vertical hooks. I would leave this guy on a mid-read. I could potentially put him on a hook zone. I could put him on hook curl, okay? So we got 2 vertical hooks and a hook curl, all right? Put them all there. And I'm just going to do the same exact route combination. I'll just put the running back on a block, hike the ball, and we're going to throw the ball away. Okay, now let's go look on instant replay and show you that angle. Okay, so now we're going to look at the linebackers, okay? And you're going to see that once those guys get basically down the field, they will revert to that same line, okay? Now, as you can see here, we've got that back line, which is our cover 4 deep blue line. We've got the 2 linebackers that are on that second line. If you remember correctly, those are on vertical hooks. And then you've got the middle linebacker who's on hook curl, who's on a different line, okay? Now, this is where they settle before people move. Now, that's something that you're going to see that's going to be very, very difficult to throw. You got these guys, if they're 91 zones as far as underneath linebackers, they're going to jump any route that's on the goal line, okay, because they're so quick to it. If they try to throw it to the outside, those 91 zone outside players already, we showed you that even on an out pattern, you're going to be able to jump the out pattern to the pylon from this short distance. So where do you throw the ball? Okay, now if you look at the weaknesses along the back line, but it has to be inside the numbers. Because if you remember correctly, this guy can cover everywhere from that pylon to the numbers to the numbers. That's going to be true on this side as well, right? So what do you got? Let's go ahead and put a bloop view here, and I'll go this way with it. You basically have got this part of the field between the numbers and in the back of the end zone, and then also just underneath where the user would be playing. So I'm going to highlight both spots and where you need to attack when you want to throw the ball inside the end zone. Okay, now I'm not talking about you could throw the ball underneath to where you can catch the ball at the 2-yard line and run the ball in, but if you're in a goal-to-goal situation and you need the ball inside the end zone and you know that you can't throw it short and run the ball in, this is where you have to attack. And that's what we're going to show you this week, of different ways to attack that part by giving different route combinations to get the user to not cover you as well. Because that's the other tough part. You have to attack the user in their section of what they can user, but also be able to throw it to the back of the end zone. So that's kind of how we're going to break down the schemes this week and also in our books. But I want to make sure that you saw a good understanding of why you have to throw where you have to throw it because of the way the game is made. If you didn't know that and you just kind of trying to find ways to get the ball in the end zone, you're not going to be as effective. Definitely running the ball is going to be the most effective way if you can jam the ball into the end zone. But there are times that you're going to have to throw the ball, and you need to know where to attack, how to attack it, and that's what we're going to here to help you provide with. As always, guys, we do appreciate you guys watching this video. If you found this educational, definitely hit that like button. It definitely does help us. We want to teach you a little bit of why and how things work in the red zone, so you're a little bit more comfortable of knowing where you need to attack for your own knowledge and ability to create your own plays. We'll catch you tomorrow on an actual play that we've designed to help you see this better in action. Catch you on that video. Thanks, guys.